I was not here for the Pride Satsang, and but I have overheard a little bit of it, and it's been in my mind now, and I'm looking at ways that it shows up for me. But I was wondering if you could talk about pride a little bit more and what that means, because I'm not sure if what I'm noticing is that or something else. I mean, either way, there's a feeling that comes with it that doesn't feel very good. So, but I'm just curious to hear a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, pride are thoughts we have, or emotions that we have, or actions that we take, whose purpose is to reassure ourselves that we are good and accomplished more than other people, because we have a fundamental question or doubt or confusion about our actual worth. So pride is sort of a compensatory set of thoughts and feelings and actions that we take to try to come out on top of some situation or with some other person or in our jobs, for the purpose of reassuring ourselves that we're okay, that we're good, that we are smart or accomplished or something. Because we have a question mark about that. We have a doubt about it. So a big aspect of pride is measuring. We have to have something to compare ourselves to. The other person or some benchmark of some sort. And that, of course, carries over into, it's a kind of ambition. And it doesn't mean that all ambition is bad, or all ambition is fixation or compulsion. I might have the ambition to be the best disciple I can be, or the best maker of something I can be, but that doesn't make that prideful. That could just be a drive to excellence that is based on devotion to a craft or to something, right? So ambition in and of itself is not pride. It's when we are trying to get a good mark in life, get a good grade, and we do it at the expense of other people. We always want there to be someone lower down that we can feel upper about. And it leads to, behaviors like criticizing and denigrating and disparaging other people, showing off, bragging, self-aggrandizement. Certainly narcissistic personality disorder is a huge aspect of this. Everything's huge and the best and about oneself. Hopefully none of us will go quite that far. But we live in a culture where we are trained to compete against each other and to be constantly measuring ourselves, and also where the anxiety about measuring up is constant. So this year is going to be, our theme for the year is going to be pride. And I ask people to keep a pride diary, noticing how pride shows up in you, as fine-grained as you can get about it. Because the first step is noticing all the little subtle movements and not so subtle movements of pride. And then to notice how are you really, or reflect on if you are in a moment where you're expressing prideful kinds of competitiveness, putting other people down, or trying to beat somebody out, or bragging, or telling the same story about yourself you always tell, or whatever. The way we behave on Facebook is very pride-driven. So all those things, just try to reflect on what are you actually feeling in those moments when you're doing those behaviors or having those thoughts. What are you actually feeling? And you're going to discover anxiety, because that's what it comes out of. It comes out of anxiety about your value or your self-worth. And we are just trained to be, our whole lives are fueled by this. We live in pride culture, right? So if you can just feel the anxiety, that would be a huge step to like identifying what it really is about. And of course, those of you who are practicing in this tradition, you understand, hopefully, or you can remember at least, that there's only one way to assuage that anxiety. What is that?
Remembering your true nature.
Remembering your real nature, because you have intrinsic value, that it cannot be damaged by anything or anyone. And everyone has exactly the same intrinsic value. So that is something you can have a real experience of. And when you do, then you'll realize that all the other ways you try to erase this self-doubt and confusion will not work. You always have to keep going back and doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it is just a life energy sucker, right? It just saps your energy. It can lay waste to entire lifetimes, this search for value through external measuring and competition. It just doesn't work. It never works. It won't make you feel better other than momentarily. And even if you have some great, great, great success, 5 minutes later, a day later, a week later, you're going to be feeling the exact same anxiety. Because there's only one thing that's actually permanent, and that's your intrinsic value. All the rest of it is an aspect of impermanence. And you can enjoy impermanence. It's very beautiful. I mean, we love fall and the changing of the seasons, and impermanence is fantastic. But you can't take refuge in it. If you decided, for instance, that you love fall, and only fall can make you feel good about yourself, you are really out of luck, because then winter, spring, and summer, you're going to feel like crap. You try to hold on to fall and take refuge in fall, right? Well, taking refuge in passing accomplishments or passing ways that you feel you measure up better compared to other people is exactly like trying to take refuge in fall. But you do have intrinsic value. You have indestructible Vajra nature. And no one can take it away from you. No one can damage it. It is eternal. And once you have a real concrete experience of that, which is what we're about, having a concrete experience about it that is undoubtable, something that you can't doubt away, and then all of these other behaviors will start to subside.